Are Jungkook at war? Inside the military rift between Jungkook and Jimin that no one expected, and the tension behind the smiles. Opening hook. What really happened inside South Korea's 5th Infantry Division between Jungkook and Jimin? Why did an innocent photo of the two BTS members in military uniform, shared in August 2024, spark an avalanche of speculation, fear, and heartbreak among fans? Could the brotherhood forged over a decade be quietly breaking down under the weight of duty? Behind the uniform, beyond the smiles, and beneath the perfectly curated silence of military protocol, something seems fractured. Was it just a disagreement over duty, or the slow unraveling of one of BTS's most beloved friendships? When a military photo was first posted, a seemingly harmless image showing Jimin and Jungkook shoulder to shoulder in a casual group shot, armies across the globe rejoiced. It had been months since either of them had been seen, let alone together. The world exhaled with relief. Jungkook, the emotional anchor of BTS's brotherhood, was alive, safe, and strong, or so it seemed. Within 48 hours, the mood shifted. A now-deleted post on X, formerly Twitter, allegedly written by an anonymous military source, sent shockwaves through the fandom. Don't believe the photo. Things between them are ice cold right now. It's not what you think. That was all it took. Point one post. 10 words. And an empire of trust began to tremble in the days that followed. More anonymous accounts surfaced, each more unsettling than the last. One claimed the two had argued loudly during meal prep. Another suggested Jimin walked out of a morning rotation because he was sick of being ignored. A third insisted Jungkook had been reprimanded privately for joking around too much in the kitchen. The kitchen? Yes, the heart of the tension, it turns out, wasn't a battlefield or a training ground. It was the military mess hall. According to multiple unconfirmed sources, Jungkook had been assigned the role of auxiliary cook for his unit, a rotating duty common among soldiers. Known for his casual demeanor and affection for cooking, many expected him to enjoy the task. But Jimin, who reportedly had taken a more disciplinary role, allegedly believed Jungkook wasn't taking the responsibility seriously enough. It wasn't just about food, one insider wrote on an anonymous forum. It was about responsibility. Jimin felt Jungkook was leaning on his celebrity status to get by. Jungkook felt Jimin was micromanaging him and treating him like a rookie. Was it a misunderstanding? A clash of personalities? Or something deeper? A slow accumulation of unspoken resentment, brewing under the surface. After all, while BTS have long been known for their unity, they are, in the end, human. Military service strips away the glamour, the privilege, the buffer zones. It forces idols and civilians alike into the same brutal equality, where stress, fatigue, and pressure often reveal the rawest version of oneself. In such an environment, even a small disagreement can metastasize into a major rift, especially when you're not just soldiers, but global icons, with millions of eyes waiting for your every move. Point one message stood out among the chatter. A cryptic quote posted by a private military account on August 28, 2024. It read, "Even the closest comrades forget who they are when stripped of everything. But true friendship survives in silence, not performance." No names were mentioned, but fans were quick to connect the dots. Soon, Jungkook began trending, not in celebration, but in fear. Fans scoured every available frame of the group photo. Was Jimin's smile tighter than usual? Was Jungkook standing slightly apart? Was their eye contact missing? And then came the biggest jolt of all. A blurry image emerged online from a soldier's phone, quickly taken down, but not before going viral, showing Jimin sitting alone during lunch, arms folded, while Jungkook stood a few tables away, laughing with another unit. The image ignited immediate debate. Proof of the rift, some cried. Totally out of context, others defended. But the silence from Big Hit only made it worse. For weeks, no statement was issued. No clarificación, no denial, just more silence. Some fans clung to hope, saying that professionalism doesn't equal distance. That duty can strain even the strongest bonds. That after years of unconditional support, Jimin and Jungkook would overcome whatever was happening behind those gates. Others weren't so sure. They pointed to older interviews where subtle friction could be seen. A moment in 2022 where Jimin joked that Jungkook never takes anything seriously, followed by a long pause and an unreadable smile. A 2023 live stream where Jungkook responded flatly to a Jimin-related comment with, "We're all doing our own thing now." Were those just harmless moments or early signs of deeper divide? As October approached, the rumor mill only intensified that a well-known Korean military blogger who had correctly leaked other idol enlistment details claimed two members of the same famous group are no longer speaking off duty. Both are admired, both are respected, but their friendship is on pause. The implication was clear, and fans didn't need the names. Everyone knew who he meant as, oh, where does this leave us? Is this simply a bump in the road? Two brothers under stress who will eventually reconcile like they always have? Or is this the moment where fame, fatigue, and forced duty finally became too much? Is the Jungkook bond broken or just bruised? And more importantly, what will happen once they return? Will this silence follow them home? Or will we see them once again side by side? Not just out of duty, but out of choice. The silence from big hit music, usually so swift in quelling unfounded rumors, was in itself suspicious. Fans were used to press releases within hours if something spiraled out of control online. But this time, nothing. No upadate. No soothing words. No official photo to counterbalance the growing mountain of doubt that, in the absence of clarity, speculation became its own truth. Fan communities divided into factions. Some armies, those who had long admired the deep emotional bond between Jimin and Jungkook, refused to believe there was a fracture at all. They pointed to years of onstage tears, shared travel vlogs, and whispered encouragements caught on camera during world tours. They've been through worse, one fan insisted in a now viral X thread. They carried each other through the weight of fame, depression, burnout, even Suga's injury. A kitchen argument isn't enough to destroy that. But others weren't so sure. These fans didn't turn their backs on the duo. They were just hurt, confused, emotionally disoriented by the dissonance between what they saw and what they felt. "I'm not mad at either of them," one comment read on a Korean forum. "I just feel like I've lost something I didn't realize meant so much." Jungkook isn't just fan service. It was hope, brotherhood, trust. And if they're not okay, what does that say about all of US who believed in it? As these discussions spread, journalists and military insiders began weighing in carefully, cautiously, but deliberately. One particularly reputable military culture commentator told Seoul Daily, "You must understand, the military doesn't play by entertainment rules. Celebrities enter as equals, but they carry the burden of perception. That perception can either isolate them or elevate them. And that might be the real crux of the conflict. Both Jimin and Jungkook were used to being perceived a certain way. To their fans, they were equals, soulmates in music, bonded by a sacred history of sacrifice and shared dreams. But in the military, Jimin had enlisted months earlier. He had already adapted, endured, and climbed. Jungkook was newer, fresher, still adjusting. And according to insiders, that difference mattered. Jimin, reportedly known for his discipline and punctuality in camp, was seen by some as model soldier material. Jungkook, meanwhile, with his natural charisma and easy laughter, was beloved, but not always viewed as the most regimented among his peers. This might not have been an issue if they hadn't been stationed in the same unit. There's a natural hierarchy in military culture, explained retired Sergeant Choi Min-woo in a podcast episode that aired just a week after the rumors. And when a junior, especially one as globally recognized as Jungkook, is seen as too relaxed or informal, it can create resentment, not always from other soldiers, sometimes from within the same circle. Was Jimin trying to protect Jungkook from backlash by being strict? Was Jungkook misinterpreting that as betrayal? The emotional irony here is heartbreaking. Both might have been trying to protect each other, but in doing so, they misunderstood each other. Fans dug deeper. Screenshots of Jimin's ex-post from July. One that read, "Sometimes leadership means letting go," resurfaced. Was it about Jungkook? About BTS? Or was it just a general reflection? Either way, the impact had already taken root. What made this moment even more fragile was the weight of timing that BTS is approaching its next major chapter. With Jeon already discharged and other members inching toward the end of their service, anticipation for a reunion is at an all-time high. Any sign of tension threatens that dream. Any suggestion that the group's bond is fraying feels apocalyptic. But what if this tension, if real, isn't a breaking point but a necessary evolution? One Army, in a powerful blog entry titled "Love Without Illusion," wrote, "If Jungkook are fighting, that means they're real. That means they care. No friendship, no brotherhood is immune to conflict. What matters is what comes after. Do they choose each other again?" This perspective gained traction because at its core, the Jungkook story isn't about perfection. It's about growth, endurance, forgiveness, and maybe even the painful process of becoming your own person, outside the shadow of even your closest friend. In the weeks that followed the initial rumors, things began to shift subtly that a new group photo was released. This time, Jimin and Jungkook were standing side by side again. Not touching, not smiling too brightly, but present, aligned. Some called it damage control. Others called it hope. Still, the air remains tense. Some say the coldness hasn't left, that they speak only when necessary, that something broke. Others say they've had late-night talks, that they've agreed to disagree, that nothing essential has changed, but no one really knows. And maybe that's the most haunting part of all, because fans aren't just witnessing the lives of celebrities. They're witnessing the very human, very raw reality of two young men who grew up under the spotlight, forged a bond stronger than blood, and are now forced to test that bond in one of the harshest environments possible. That it's not a stage. It's not a variety show. It's military service. And in that crucible, everything is revealed. Where will Jungkook go from here? Will they return stronger, reunited in both spirit and song? Or will they carry quiet scars, invisible to the public eye, but painfully felt in every shared lyric? The answer, perhaps, lies not in photos or posts, but in the silence. And for now, that silence continues.